Hey everybody, I'm Brad. Welcome to I Teach 3D, and today we're going to make a crank arm shaft in the Unreal Engine 5.7. I also made one in Maya, and go check it out because it's a little bit different how you do it in animation software than you would do it in a real-time game engine. So let's get started. All right, here's what we're going to be working on. When I hit play, you can see that here's the crank arm shaft right there. It's rotating around, there's a crank arm, and then there's a sliding arm going back and forth. So let's get started. All right, I've already set up a couple things. I'm going to hide the original, I'm going to unhide the pieces. All I did was create a cylinder. I created a handle for it, and I did parent the handle to the cylinder. And then I've got a couple boxes here. That's it, static mesh boxes. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is we're actually going to be using physics for this. So let's create a couple physics things. So we're going to go into the quick add, and we'll go down into all. And if you don't know where it is, you can just scroll down into the P's, their alphabetical order. And I'm going into physics constraint actor. And it shows up there. I'm going to put it right in between these two pieces right there. So let me come over here and take a look. I'll bring it right over there, maybe top down, bring it, boom, right there. And let's see. Put it right there. Let's put it in the middle so we can kind of see it and select it if we need to. So I like that. Let's also go ahead and I'm going to hold the Alt key and drag it on that x-axis right there. Let's put it right there. I'm going to bring this one down just a little bit. See how that looks. I like it. It looks like it's in a good position. All right, now we have physics actors right in there, physics constraint actors. We need to make sure that these pieces can simulate physics. So let's do that now. So I have the sliding arm, and I'll come down here into details. First of all, let's make sure it's movable. And then we're going to scroll down. We will simulate physics. And then we're going to scroll down. Now this thing, I only want this sliding arm to slide on the x-axis right here. So let's go ahead and lock all the other axes. We don't want any rotation on this. So I'm going to lock rotation. And we said sliding only on the x-axis, so we'll allow that and then lock it on the y and the z. Very good. Let's go into the crank arm right here. The crank arm, similar thing is that we want to make it movable. We'll scroll down and say simulate physics. And then we don't want it to move. If you look at the pivot point here, we don't want it moving back and forth on the y-axis right there. So let's lock the y-axis. We do want it to go up and down, and we do want it to go back and forth. So we'll allow x and z. And then the rotation. And so I don't want it to rotate on the x-axis. That would be really weird. And I don't want it rotating on the z-axis. That would be spinning around there. So we're going to lock those. And I only want it to rotate on the y-axis. So that's our setup for constraining axes on the position and the rotation. So that looks good. We're simulating physics, and we've already made it movable. So those look really good. Oh, the last thing for this piece is that we've got to go ahead and rotate it. So I press the E key on my keyboard. I'm going to rotate it one click, and then W key, and then move it down a little bit right there. And if I want to, I can move it over just a touch right there. So depends where you want some space. But anyway, we'll do that. All right, I've got it into position. And let's go ahead and select the constraint actor right here. And it looks like it put it all the way down there at the bottom. And let's get it. I'm going to roll up the playground folder, make it easier for me. And I'm going to take my physics constraint actors, click, drag, and drop them on the actual folder that I'm working in. For me, it just makes it way easier to have them all right here so I can grab them. Okay, very good. So let's take physics constraint actor 3. And the object on the left is going to be the first one. That's going to be our physics constraint actor number 1. You can see right here it's asking us for it. So I can come down here and select it if I know what it's called. This one is called crank. And so I can come down here, click, and it gives me the whole list of everything. So I can click on crank. But maybe a faster way would be to just grab the the eyedropper, click on it, and then click on the thing you want. Pick crank arm. And you'll see the first thing I picked, constraint actor 1 is red, and constraint actor 2 is blue. Let's do the same thing down here. I'll zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to grab this other constraint actor. And once again, I'm going to grab the eyedropper and click this one. This piece, constraint actors, they can, the pieces that attach to them, they can be both kind of the leader and the follower. And so in this case, that's what this one is. Then let's go ahead and choose constraint actor 2 with the eyedropper and make the sliding arm. There it is, and it highlights in blue, and we're just about ready. So one more thing we have to do is that nothing is actually moving these things yet. So let's go into our rotating piece here, the crank, and let's make it rotate in the scene. So I'm going to add a component to it. So we'll click on the Add Component button. And there is a rotating movement component in there. Let's just type the word rotat, and rotating movement comes up. We'll put it in there. And we want to make sure that we're going to rotate. Now this one says by default, it puts 180 degrees on the Z-axis. How do we know what axis we want? And so, well, I was supposed to reset that. Normally, you'd look at it in the world axis, where it's the green axis, the y-axis right there, but that's not correct. And so you have to go into the local axis right there, click that button, and then it lets me know what axis it's actually on. So this is the, we want to rotate it on the z-axis. Well, that looks correct. Oh, go back to rotating movement. And there it is, 180 degrees on the z-axis. That's probably a good speed to start with, and we can check on it and see if we want it slower or faster. This is how many degrees per second. So it's going to rotate half a turn every second. So 2 turns, or it's going to rotate 1 turn every 2 seconds. So everything looks good to me. Let's go ahead and set it up and hit play. So I'm going to hit play. And it looks, this is the original, so the other one is not set up yet. Let's see what we did. I think I know exactly what we did. Click here. We forgot to make it movable right there. So let's make it movable. So everything is set up correctly. We just didn't make it movable. So let's hit play again. There it is. They're both working. I'm going to go over to the other side so we can see the one we just built, which is this one right here. And it looks really good. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's how you make a crank arm shaft in Unreal Engine 5.7. And again, go check out doing this in Maya. I hope you have a great day.